Welcome back to Sway Whatever. Today I'm going to be teaching you one of my bowls that I do. That's one bowl meal. I don't have a title yet. I have to come up with it though. It's basically going to be like almost like a shepherd's pie, except you're going to put it all together with a bowl and end it with your biscuits and put it in the oven. I'm going to be using a small can of peas. If you have fresh peas, more power to you. But I bought a small can of peas. I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm probably going to use about half. Kosher salt as usual, black pepper, butter, milk. I got a carrot. I'm only going to be using part of a carrot, just showing you what the carrots that I'm actually using natural carrots, not store bought. But if you can always buy the veg on, you're more than welcome to. This is about a quarter of an onion. And for the mashed potatoes I'm making myself, I have plenty of potatoes left after Thanksgiving. So it's going to be red lips and 2 cloves of garlic. So I have a pan right over here with a tablespoon of canola oil already going slowly. And I got my water going for my potatoes. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and cut the potatoes and start boiling them that way that to start getting ready for the mashed potatoes, and then we'll skip on to the next. So what I do is, since it's going to be a quick dish, you don't want to leave them in chunks, so I cut it in half and then into semicircles. And be mindful that you also don't want to have your potatoes too small, because with the water boiling, they'll end up breaking apart, and then you'll have potato water. Okay? So just go ahead and cut these up and go ahead and put them into the water. So I would just drop in the water my potatoes. I'm doing dirty mash, so that's why I left the skin on. If you have instant mashed potatoes, you're more than welcome to use those instead. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut my carrots. What I did was I'm using like 3/4 of a carrot. Make sure you cut the ends and just peel off the excess skin on top so you don't have that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in and go into half spoons. Again, just cut the carrot in half. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Depends on the thickness that you want. I'm doing about half an inch for an inch thick. If you're not a lover of carrots, you can omit the carrots or reduce how much carrots you're using. But I'm going to go ahead and cut those so I can get ready to start cutting my carrots. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the garlic that I'm going to be using. And as usual, as I've said before, since they're not perfectly flat, they're oval odd shapes. So I'll go ahead and always cut it in half and then go ahead and cut those. It's going to be a lot more easier if you don't have flexibility with your fingers to hold it. So we're going to go ahead and put those to the side also. And now we're going to go ahead and get the onions. You want to go ahead and take off that end. You don't want that in whatsoever. It's no good. So after I take off that end, then I'm going to go ahead and peel off the skin. As you can see, I kind of left that little bit end for the root end. That way my onions will stay together and won't go all over the place. So let's go ahead and get it cut. If you prefer an onion dice, to dice it up, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to go ahead and consider, I like onions, so as you can see I cook onions a lot. So I'm just going to get that going. And this is a meal perfect for those who are single guys. This is the fellas, not guys in general, girls. But for the guys who are single, who don't have the girlfriend or the wife or the mom to cook for, this is a very, very simple. It's also very, very cheap. and it gets you full. And it's all sitting in one bowl. It's not a lot of components. Right now my potatoes are boiling. I'm going to go ahead and start sauteing our vegetables. My oil's already hot, so what I'm going to drop first is going to be my onions and my carrots. And I have that medium, or medium low. You don't want to brown your carrots. You actually want to just kind of sweat them. Let them break apart. Let it get soft. Then you're going to get your carrots in along with your onions, because you don't want your carrots too hard. You want them to be a little bit soft. If you want your carrots crunchy, you can add them later or get them thicker. Some people don't like their vegetables with a crunch. I don't mind it. I like the crunchiness and also keep some of that nutrients into my vegetables. And this is mostly going to be a salt, pepper to taste. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with, just for measurement wise, with half a teaspoon. But this is more, like I said, this is more of a salt and pepper to taste. After this is all sauteed, I'm going to go ahead and taste it to make sure that it's good with the salt and the pepper. And also realize that you're going to be adding salt and pepper to your mashed potatoes, so it's going to add more of that flavor. I'm going to let that cook for a minute. I'm going to check on my potatoes. You want them to be tender. You don't want them falling apart. For this kind of dish, I don't like my potatoes to be too liquidy. I like them to have a nice consistency of a thickness. It is going to sit on top and on top of the vegetables. Okay, so I got my onions and my carrots going. So I haven't added the garlic yet because I want this to be the very last item to be added to. I don't want my garlic to be overcooked. I want some of the flavor to be put in, but not to be burnt. I'm going to go ahead and add my ground beef right now. If you don't want to add ground beef, you can add ground pork or ground turkey. Or if you don't want ground meat at all, you can put tofu in it, or just leave it with add more vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and raise it up to a medium. Now that my carrots are going with my onions, and this is just going to be a quick mash. You want to mash up your beef as it's going, as it's cooking, so you can break it up. And you just want to make sure that your beef is going to be fully cooked. So once it's fully cooked, we'll add the beef. Those beef that I have are out of a can, so I really don't need to let them cook that much. They're pretty good to go. So we're going to add peas and the garlic at the very, very last minute. And just let those flavors combine a little bit. We also want to be mindful of our potatoes. Don't forget about these potatoes. We want potato soup. So go ahead and check our potatoes real quick. Make sure that they're good to go. And they're almost there. Also about another 5 to 10 minutes on those potatoes and it should be fine. You know, you continue cooking your beef. So now the potatoes are done. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And I want to go ahead and drain them. And let me get the lid here, because I don't have a strainer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drain all the water out of the potatoes. And if you do have a strainer, use a strainer. If you don't, just be careful that you won't get burned. And I'm going to be using the same pot to mash them in. Just gonna go ahead and use another eye to add the milk and the butter. I don't want them to get cold. So I'm gonna go ahead. I have a cup of milk in here. What I have is 2%. If you want to use heavy cream, or if you want to use half and half, or whole milk, you're more than welcome to. It's to your preference. I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic and my peas that I'm gonna add to the meat, and with the carrots and the onions. Let that cook in while I do the mashed potatoes. And again, you don't have to use all the peas. We're about to use half a can of peas. And this you can store for a different dish. As you can see, you have your garlic, your carrots, your peas, your onions, with your protein. And you're going to just let that cook a little bit longer as while you get your mashed potatoes. Remember, you're going to have, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because it's going to spin in the oven. I have the oven cooking at 350 degrees for my biscuits. Well, make sure that you read the instructions of this. This is 400, so I'm going to turn it up to 400 degrees. And now I'm going to go ahead and start mashing the mashed potatoes. And that's like a family spoon. I don't have a masher either, so I'm going to use this spoon. So as you can see, I'm going to be mashing. Let me go ahead and change eyes so you can see a little bit better. Turn this one on, medium. And I'm going to be mashing my mashed potatoes, the potatoes that I have. Again, I'm doing dirty mash. I love dirty mash, but you don't have to have the dirty mash. You can leave them chunky if you don't want them chunky. It's to your preference. If you want to add sauteed onions to your mash, you're more than welcome to. If you want to use sweet potatoes for your mash, you're also welcome to do that. I know that I've done that before, and Miguel seems to like sweet potatoes a lot. He loves sweet potatoes, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little half of the cup of milk that I have. So it's going to be a little bit easier to mash up. I'm going to do half a tablespoon of butter. And again, it's to your preference also. I know that some people like that really nice flavor of the butter in their mash. And if you're trying to wet your waistline, which I think I should, but you don't have to add all that butter. You just want to keep on mashing until you get the consistency that you want. And the starches of the potatoes will thicken it up. I also have the eye going. I'm gonna mash my mashed potatoes. I'm gonna add, again, this is gonna be a salt and pepper to taste. That's what I just poured in. It's about a half a teaspoon, quarter of a teaspoon of salt. And this is just about a quarter of a teaspoon that I'm doing of black pepper. Gonna mix it in. Make sure that you taste your mashed potatoes before you say you're done with them. That way you will know if you need more butter, if you need more milk. For me, I need the rest of the milk. I need another half a teaspoon of the butter, and just a dash more of, that's about another half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and mix that in to my mashed potatoes. And I want to go ahead and cook this well. And again, depending on the size of your potatoes, if your potatoes are smaller, you don't need to add so much milk. If you don't like your potatoes to be too watery, you don't have to use too much milk. If you're using a starchier potato or baked potato, which are a lot bigger than your red bliss, then you can go ahead and use that. So now that I have my consistency ready for those mashed potatoes, as you can see, my mashed potatoes are not too thick and they're definitely not too watery. Depending on the consistency that you like your mashed potatoes. Again, this is more of a sauce to taste, salt, pepper to taste to your preference, and the consistency is more to your preference. So now that I'm done with all this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and clean up a little bit. Get rid of this stuff. And then you want to make sure that your meat is seasoned correctly to the taste that you want. I'm going to go ahead and let me get a towel so the counter won't get damaged. We're going to go ahead and assemble the bowls now. I'm going to bring my meat and my mashed potatoes, and as you can see, I have biscuits that I'm going to put on top. I'm doing 2 right now because it's only 2 of us here. If you have more than one family, you can actually get 3 bowls out of this whole thing. If you need to make it bigger, you can add more meat, you can add mashed potatoes. So this is also according to how many people you're actually serving. So right now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start assembling. I'm going to do half the biscuit per bowl. So I have, it's going to be 5 and 5 biscuits. If you don't want to do too many biscuits, you're more than welcome to bake them apart and keep them to the side. But you can't put them back in the fridge once they're open. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start dividing them. I'm going to do half of it in one bowl and the other half in the other bowl. Go ahead and add your mashed potato on top. And with your rubber spatula, you want to go ahead and spread out those mashed potatoes. The bowls that I have, they're actually oven safe, they're ceramic. Be mindful to make sure that you don't use glass or anything like that. They will crack and pop inside your oven. So be mindful as to what material you're using. Now I'm going to go ahead and place the biscuits on top of those mashed potatoes. And it's going to take about 15 minutes to bake. Normally by themselves it takes 8 to 10 minutes, but you have food underneath it, so they do take a little bit longer. So it'll be, depending on the oven, takes 10 to 15 minutes. You also want to make sure your dough is fully cooked. So let's go ahead and assemble the next one. So again, you want to put the other half in the other bowl. And my boyfriend absolutely loves when I do these bowls. He gets to sit down and eat his bread and all his food all at once, and he doesn't have to worry about anything except that one bowl right in front of him. And if you have kids, make them with them. That way they'll learn how to start cooking, and it's very simple, and they'll learn how to make a dish on their own. So you want to add the rest of those potatoes. And this one seems fuller, so this one's going to be my boyfriend. I'll have the smaller one. And then again, you want to go ahead and add your biscuits to the top. And if you want to brush your biscuits with butter, you can, or with anything else. And that's how it looks. One looks fuller than the other one, my boyfriend's and mine. Now that they're done, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven And again, the biscuits calls out for 400 degrees, 8 to 10 minutes. I left them at 400 degrees, but I'm going to cook them for about 15 minutes. Watch the biscuits, make sure that they are cooked underneath where the food is. I have a pan in here. I'm not going to set my bowls directly on the racks. I have a pan already sitting there, and I'm just going to put it in the bottom one and go ahead and let them bake for 15 minutes. And we'll see them in 15 minutes. So it's been 2 minutes extra time, so it's been a total of 17 minutes. I've actually had to bake them. Please, please, please be careful. You do not want to burn yourself, especially if you're going to be serving these. These bowls will stay hot, especially if they're your ceramic bowls. When you just serve them, don't serve them just the bowls themselves. You want to grab plates and serve them in plates. That way, whoever's eating them could have something underneath and not grab the bowl. They will burn their fingertips. So now we're going to move them over. And as you can see, this is my boyfriend, the one that's popping over. We're going to go ahead and place that one on the side. And take mine that is smaller. Okay, so as you can see, like I said before, if you want to brush them over with butter, you're more than welcome to. Again, be careful, the bowls are really, really hot. I'm not going to take this one, the big one that please my boyfriend. But I am going to take the small one. Try not to burn my fingers. Let me grab a towel. You can see it's literally a whole dish in one bowl. You have the nice golden biscuits on top, and right underneath those biscuits is piping hot mashed potatoes, which I don't know if you can see this thing, but it's really, really hot. You got your mashed potatoes, and you got all your meat. So my boyfriend came up with the name. It's a biscuit shepherd's pie bowl. And it's all in one bowl. You don't have to clean up plates or anything like that. It literally gets to one bowl. So remove those biscuits. Be careful you don't burn your fingers. And now it's time to taste. And very, very cool is that your biscuits are sitting right on top. So go ahead and taste this. And it's super hot, so be careful when you are. I don't want to take this too hot, but here we go. It's actually very, very good. This is one of my favorite dishes to make, and it's one of my boyfriend's favorite dishes to eat. Here soon I will also be showing you another variety that you can do with the bowls and the biscuits. And this is it for today's show. Thank you for watching, and as always, always, always have fun and enjoy.